Right, I think we're pretty much set up. Right, welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today's video is just going to be basically edging and finishing some of these boards. So I'm hoping to knock these out in about an hour, and then I can have my Sunday dinner and relax for the rest of the day. So to start this job, I just need to set up. I've pretty much set everything up. We're going to be doing a little bit of routing today. So I got a nice round over fitted on the router over there. That's all ready to go. And sadly, I don't know if those of you who are using the Festool router, with the dust extraction on the router, when you exceed a limit on a certain size of router bit, you can't use the dust shroud. Now this gets very tight when you're trying to plunge, and you don't want to be knocking this because they quite easily damage and you need to replace them. So obviously when you got your router set and you're using a bigger router bit, it's always best just to use one of these which comes with the router. So you can just pop that on the bottom. This is a chip deflector. You can change whatever angle that's going at, so you can try and suck some of the dust away. So we're just going to set up now. We're pretty much done. I'm going to get myself sorted. And don't forget, like we always say on these lives, just tell me where you're from, drop it in the comments. I just need to chuck a new blade on my saw. Oh. This is my trusty blade box. Got some blades in your mind. Right. Pop this out of the way. Right, it's cold in here today, mind. I don't know if any of you are watching from the UK, I've gone a little bit nippy. And in this room, I don't get a lot of sunlight in this room. Let me pop these out of the way. I got so many things in here, it's unbelievable. I got to try and get it sorted this year. This is going to be the year where we're going to make everything for this room, and we're actually going to sort this workshop out. So I'm just going to chuck a new blade on the saw. Quick and easy. Set that to there. And chuck a new blade on him. Oh. Check that down there. Pop that off. I'm going to chuck a new blade on you. The blade's done well on you, mind this one. Must have had this on the saw about 3 months. I've done alright on this blade. I don't know if those of you are watching, do you use the original Festool blades on your saw? Or do you actually buy another brand? Personally, I like to run only Festool. There we are, this blade. Done a nice bit of work, this one have. It's still been cutting great, mine. I'm not going to lie. I done a kitchen last week and it was cutting absolutely fabulous. But I'm going to change the blade. I do like to send them off for sharpening. So I had to keep all my blades and then I get them resharpened. I've been meaning to do that. I haven't done it in a while. I normally like to take about 8 or 10 blades in at once. Get them all sharpened all in one go. And then I'll just reuse them then. But I got a load of blades. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if loads of you took advantage of it when COVID hit about 4 or 5 years ago. When was it? 2020? The price on the Festool gear went right down, didn't it? How are you? Yes, whereabouts in Wales? I'm in between Cardiff and Swansea. So yeah, COVID hit. And the prices of blades plummeted, didn't they? A lot of companies were struggling and they slashed all the prices. And I was picking these up at about £29 a blade. So I bought a load of them and I'm still using them right now. So I'm just getting rid of all of my blades. I've got a massive stack of them. I was pretty lucky. And I managed to purchase a load of blades. So I don't know if any of you took advantage of all of that. Obviously, I do remember when COVID hit, the batteries were slashed as well. The prices of the batteries. Hi, how are you? Watching from Newport. That's awesome, that. Only down the road from me. So yeah, I took advantage of the blade prices. Obviously they were slashed. All the batteries were slashed as well. I never want to go back in there, mind. I don't know why. Don't know, these 3D printed things are awful, aren't they? Some of them. I've had about 4 of these now and they keep falling apart. They're not cheap. This one's going now, look. See about that? Watch this. See, it's already breaking already. They don't last long. Right, anyway, so let's just get back to the video now, what we were planning to do. That's probably going to end up falling out of there today because it doesn't seem very tight to me. I'll just pop this blade away now, so that's ready for sharpening. It's always nice to keep them all in one place. But these blades, these Festool ones, I don't know if any of you are running different make blades, but these do sharpen about 3 or 4 times. You do get a good service life off a Festool blade. You get at least 3 or 4 sharpenings. The guy that actually sharpens mine in the place by me, he says they're the best blades. He said you can get about 3 or 4 sharpens off them. They're well worth the money. I know they can be a bit pricey to start with, but you do get your money's worth out of them after you have a few sharpens, don't you? So let's get on to the video then. We're just going to edge these boards now. I'm going to route them as well. And then I can finally finish this project. Now, for those of you who's new on here, alright, we've made this simple maple cutting board. It's not perfect. This is from recycled timber. I will just show you the timber now. I got a piece standing up over here. Some of you might know what it is. We've done a lot of planing on this. We are making a chopping board. So this is the timber I rescued off a job. It's just maple flooring. It's from Canada. It's Canadian timber. A lot of it was rotted through in a customer's property. It was a suspended floor. So I took a load of this out. We had some nice timber. We then planed the timber down. So we planed all the timber on a load of lives. That went on for months and months. Then I moisture contented the wood and we found out there was a lot of moisture in it. But this timber is absolutely perfect now. What was it when I tested it? I'll test it right now on camera. I think it was about 7%, something like that. So this timber is good to go for a board now. There we are, 7.3, 7.4, 7.5, 7.6. Well, that's absolutely perfect. So this is good to go. All right. So yeah, we then glued the maple together. Let me just find another piece. We glued them all together. There were some loads of bad bits. We still got nail holes. We got all sorts of nonsense going on here. It was very awkward to try and actually get something out of this wood. I do like the maple. It's all completely different colours. It's got a lovely smell to it. And when we glued that up then, we done another glue up to get the block effect on the timber. And then we cut these and actually got the board in the end. But this was a lot of work. It was a lot of work just to get one board out of it. It does look nice, alright? It is recycled timber. Here's the back. We still got some holes. There's all sorts going on. So I managed to get something out of it. It was a lot of work to get to this stage. So I'll be happy to finish this project off today. But all of that is from recycled timber. And as you can see, it was hell of a state. We had nails in there. We had pieces like this, so I was trying to glue all these together, take this piece off there, and actually try and get something I could use as a chopping board. So I'm happy I managed to get something out of it. It might have been a job that I started, spent a bit of money on, and got nothing from it. But it's looking nice. I know it's not perfect. It's a rusticy looking board, so we're going to get something nice out of that. So anyway, less of me talking now. I best crack on. Best get on with some of this work that I plan to do here today. So all we're going to do now, which I'm looking for my hose, is we're just going to cut these boards. So where's everyone from today? Drop in a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well if you want to follow more content like this. There is a brand new hype button as well on YouTube that no one's hit yet. If you like what you see, hit the hype button. I'm going to be posting a couple of new videos this weekend. I've got to do a bit of editing today on one, and there's a nice video I'm dropping. So don't forget to stay tuned for that. So there's plenty going on. Might have been a bit quiet on you recently, mind, don't forget, but I have been very busy, so we are going to try. Christmas time as well, I just want to say on you. We're going to be doing loads of lives over the Christmas. We done a load last year, a lot of people enjoyed them. I'm going to be doing plenty over Christmas. I'll spend a week with the kids, and then we'll have a week of lives. We'll do 2 or 3 a day, and we'll see where that takes us. Right. Anyway, let's have a look what I'm doing. I don't want to be falling over things, so I'll just move this out of the way. We'll just get the saw ready, and what else do I need? A guide rail, which would be nice. Let's get a guide rail. You think you get everything ready to start a live, and before you know it, you don't know where anything is. Hi from Argentina, that's absolutely brilliant. We're from Wales in the UK here. So I'm just going to chop this board first, I think. Just going to take that off there. I'm not going to be reusing that. This is a nice chevron board I made. Be kind, mind on the comments. This is the first time I've had a go at making something like this. Here's a border I've done for there. It's a bit thick, this one. I would have liked to cut it in 2, to be honest with you, but it might have warped. But I made these. Alright, I've left them a few months just to see if anything happens, to see if anything warps, and these boards have stayed nice and flat. So I'm happy to proceed with this job now. We're just going to chop this. We're going to send the saw through here, and then we're going to have a look what it looks like. I haven't got my guide rail square with me today because that's on a job. So I'm just having a look at this now, and I'm going to eye this in. This project is for me personally in my house. So we're just going to cut that off, and then I will measure and I'll square up myself with just a simple measuring tape. Right, let's set the saw. She's on full depth. Got a brand new blade on her. She should be cutting nice. Let me give myself a little bit more hose by here. Always nice when we've got a new blade on a saw. Tell you what, they make a nice effect, don't they? Look at that. Fold them over. You've got a nice little square. Maybe I could have made a board like that. There's another one. I like that. Who's that? I love the way you talk. It reminds me of horse racing commentator. Oh, there we are. That's nice. Thank you for that. Do you need to make a chest? Do you need to make a chest table? Yeah, that's a good idea, that is. I do need to make a chess table, actually, because my boy, he is right into chess. He loves it. I was thinking resin, but I'm getting a bit bored of resins now. It'd be nice to try and make all your little blocks yourself. They look quite effective, them. They're not perfectly lined, but maybe I could make something like that. I do like that. Anyway, right, so we've done the first cut on the board. It is looking nice. Everything's nice and tight on there, just to show you. I do like the effect of this. And then we'll just chop the other sides off now. So we'll go ahead and cut the other side. And then we'll see what it looks like. I don't know if those of you remember, this is slightly out of line in the middle, this board. I will show you. It's just slightly out of line. This is when I done the glue up, it was slightly out of line, this one. But this is my board, so I don't mind that. I was thinking, do I cut it, re-glue it? But I'm happy with it. I've got over that now. It still looks very effective. So we're just going to cut this side off here now. Well, there you go. I hope you got good commentary. She did say it's like watching a commentator on ya. So let's just cut this there. That looks nice for me. That's looking lovely. Very effective, them. I do like them. I'm a fan of them. Maybe I'll make something with these. What glue do you use? Right, we'll just show you the glues for chopping boards. We'll just grab them. Funny enough, this was recommended by a subscriber of mine, Denny. He's a good boy. He knows a lot about woodworking. A lot of it's trial and error for me. I have been practicing. But this is the glue I was using for chopping boards. You can go with Gorilla Glue as well. This is the Titebond 2. Where does it say by here? It's an interior and exterior glue as well, alright? It's water resistant, and that's the perfect stuff you want for making boards. You can go with Gorilla Glue as well. Gorilla Glue is exactly the same, alright? It is water resistant. So that's all you're looking for when making a board. You need the water resistant wood glue. Don't go using something like this, which I will get now. Alright. Do not use the Titebond original, alright, because that is not waterproof, alright. So you just need to be careful. Obviously check what glues you're using. Use plenty of glue, don't be scared, you can always clean it up. It's written back to front. Right, I didn't realise that because you're on a front-facing camera on this, aren't we? So yeah, I will say what it is. If it's looking back to front, this is just Titebond 2, right? It's a premium wood glue. If it's in the UK, Axminster Tools to sell it. You can get it on eBay, and you can also purchase it on Amazon, all right? So it's readily available, all right? So you'll be able to find that quite easily. So I'm just going to do another cut on here now. This board's looking nice. I do like the effect of this one. So I'm just going to mark this now with a simple pen and pencil. Whoop, I'm falling over here. Why I'm in a rush, I don't know. So let me just get a measuring tape now. So all I'm going to do is just measure this and cut. Alright, I haven't got my square with me sadly today. It's on a job as per usual. Is PVA any good? I'd say no to that, Royce. I'd either stick with Titebond or Gorilla Glue. They're the best two on the market. Do you stay it in or use oil? I'll be using an oil on this job. There's some lovely mineral oils you can buy. I'm actually going to be using this one by here. Alright. This board is more for show, mind. This is more of a show board. I'll be using the Osmo oil on this, alright? But there's loads of good brands out there. You've got Oddy's oil. You can use a mineral oil which is designed for chopping boards. I might just get some mineral oil. But what I'm going to do today, because I want to finish these boards, I'm probably going to put an Osmo oil on there. I'll see what it's like. If I'm not happy, I can always sand it off and start again. Right, so I'm just going to take a simple measurement on here now. What does that say? Is there any comments we missed? Let's just have a look. I'm trying to say answer everyone's comments. How much do you get for a chopping board? Right, like I said, these are the first boards I've ever made. All right, it's all practice. These are just trial and error boards which I'm having a go at. I got notifications flying on my phone there, which is getting on my nerves. So yeah, these boards are the first boards I made. I don't mind making some to sell them on. But what you will find with chopping boards, alright, it's hard to earn money on a board. Because the material isn't cheap. If I remember off the top of my head, this board's cost about 70 quid to make, I think. So it's not cheap. Alright, where you see people charging just over £100 for a chopping board, they're probably pretty much breaking even in my opinion. So I'm just going to go ahead now and just cut a line up here. Do you know what? I'm thinking it's looking absolutely perfect just looking at it. Let's just measure for square a second and I'll check it for straightness then. That's measuring 440. Alright, and that's measuring 442. Well, we're just slightly out of square on that. I think I'm going to cut a nice clean line on there first. Just cut that nice and square now. So I'm looking for straight. Do you know what? It is looking quite nice. I'm going to take a little skim off here now. Just measure and take a skim off there. And then we're good to go. So I think we're going to cut. These are looking nice and even, see? So I only want to take a little tiny skim off this. But there. And then we'll cut to there. Oh, there's the difference. I can see it now. And what's that one measured in there? Yeah, that's pretty even. So we're going to stick with that. We're going to do a little skim on here now. And then we'll have a look what this board looks like. It's going to look nice. We're going to route the edge on here then. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And I just want to clean up here because we've got a couple of burn marks. So I popped a new blade on the saw because I'm hoping not to have burn marks today. We've got a brand new blade. We've got a nice clean cut on there. There's the cut we've just done with the saw. This is 45mm thick. The TS55K handles these cuts quite easily. There's a nice slither, you can see through that. There's all the jointing we done. They're nice and tight on here. Let me just show you that one, can you see that? So that's looking nice, but don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to carry on watching these videos, I'll just show you that. Just so you can see for yourself. Like I said, it's the first time I've done something like this. We haven't got fancy clamps. I'll just show you the clamps that I've been using. So if you're going to be doing a project yourself in your house, I only use these little cheap sash clamps. Look, they're nothing fancy, but I'll tell you what, they do the job. As long as you can plane your timber as flat as possible, that's where you're going to produce your best results on making boards. It's all about trying to get this timber perfectly square and flat. That's the hard bit. Once you've done that, gluing up is a breeze. Because if your timber's got a slight twist to it or anything like that, it's not going to glue up and it's going to leave you a little gap. Hardwood or softwood, right. Obviously this timber here, we have oak and we've also got ash on this board. So this is an oak and ash. It's both hardwood. Alright, this is a hardwood chopping board. And right here we got maple as well. That's another hardwood. Just sub 2. Thanks, Roy. That's absolutely great. Don't forget to like as well. That'd be awesome. What it does with the live then, it lets the live go out that little bit further. So you gain a little bit of traction. So all we're going to do now is just going to cut the other side of this. It will need a light sand. I'm just trying to think. I think I've left my sanders on a job, but I have got a Rotex that I can pull out and use. And I'm just going to check that side straight on there as well. Obviously get your straight edge, pop it up to the side and see if you're running straight. It's looking quite nice actually, so I quite like that. I think I'm going to settle with our board as it is. Alright, so we've edged this one now, it's looking nice. Oh, I want to take off that bit, but there, see? Where I sent this through the saws, look, see, we've got a load of burn marks on there, so I want to get rid of that. We'll go ahead and cut that now. 45mm, we call that. Yes, correct. What's that say on there? Sorry, I'm just trying to read the comments and I might have been missing a couple of them. Right, anyway, so we've got no comments to reply to now. So we'll just go ahead and cut this. So yeah, it's looking nice. I'm happy with it. Like I said, it's a bit of work to make something like this, but it's well worth the effort. So I only want to skim a little bit off here and I will measure just to check where we're at. So I want to try and keep things square. Like I said, I haven't got my guide rail square with me right now. So we're just going to measure square. So all I'm doing is just measuring these, the exact same measurements. These should be the same as well. And we're looking good. That is good enough for me. I'm going to go ahead and cut this now, and then this is ready to be routed. So I'm looking forward to that. I think what we'll do then is route this board up so this one's all complete. I don't know how I got mud all over. Look at, where's all this come from? Let me just get a wonder wipe. Give me a sec, people. 2 secs. I don't understand how I got mud everywhere in here, but I have been out walking the dog just recently. So I got mud all over me. The black marks is because of the speed of the blade. Yes, it is FMS. It's basically you're pushing through too slowly. Now this was cut on the table saw, all right, and I was pushing through and it was a little bit too slow and then it created burn marks. Also, burn marks can come from a blunt blade if you're running a saw with a blunt blade. So that's why I decided today to put a brand new blade on here, because I want to avoid any burn marks on the side, because burn marks just creates more work, more sanding, and it's an absolute nightmare. Speed square is easiest. Yes, it is, Royce. Speed square is much easier. Like I said, my guide rail square is on a job, so I've just decided to measure these cuts in. Like I said, this is only for me. Obviously, if I was doing this job for a customer, we'd have to be more perfect in doing everything. So I've just decided to measure the cuts myself. Normally 9 times out of 10, I would use a speed square, I'm not going to lie. Right, so let me get this cut done now. I've cleaned that up. And then once we've done this, we can route the edge on here then. I'm not doing drips on these trays, because these chopping boards, sorry, because these boards are just display boards in the house. Alright, they're not going to be used for cutting, they are just for display. So let's go ahead and cut this now and get rid of this. She's moving a little bit then. There we go, there's the cut. So we haven't got any burning. You will, thank you, Royce. When you're cutting, right, if you stop with a saw, you're going to create a little burn marks. You've got to try and push it through all in one go. It's not necessarily how slow you go, but you have got to be careful you don't go too slow as well. Thank you, FMS. I'm just trying to show. No, but like I said, they're not perfect, right? They are far from perfect boards, but they are not bad. I haven't got big, massive machinery. Those of you who actually watch my videos will see I'm a very small workshop. This is in the back of my house where I live. All right, so I haven't got big machineries. I haven't got a jointer. I do struggle without a jointer, I'm not going to lie, because if you've got yourself a jointer, you can square your stock up to start with, send it through a thicknesser planer, and then you're going to create some perfect timber to work with. So I do struggle with what I got, but I am producing some lovely pieces. So we got this board cut now. I don't know if those of you want to see me route the edge on this first, or do we go ahead and cut the maple board? Thank you, FMS. We could go ahead and cut the maple board now, and then we can edge them all together. Wouldn't your guide move about if you don't clamp it? Yes, they can move about if you don't clamp. I have got clamps, but I'm so used to cutting with a plunge saw, I know how far I can push things. As long as I'm not moving my saw and I'm going through at a steady pace, the guide rail does stay put. Obviously, with a guide rail, you've got your grippers on there. They're pretty good on timber. They do stay on there, right? It's all practice, that's all it is. Obviously, I've been cutting with a plunge saw for years now, so I know what's going on. This is a kickback saw as well, so I don't worry too much when I'm using. I've never had a saw kick back, but I never ran an old blade. It's always about using blunt blades. That's when they kick and pinch. But yeah, we've got that board cut now, everyone. It's looking nice. I do like it. It just needs a little sand because you've got a couple of black marks on there, probably where I've been rubbing this board back and forth. So I'm going to go ahead now and cut the maple. I don't know what this cut's like. Nah, that's all right. So if you have got any questions, don't forget to drop them on there. I do answer everyone's questions. If I haven't answered your question, put your question back on there and I will try and answer it for you. Right. So we're going to cut the next board now. As we got the saw set up, we might as well go ahead and cut that. And then we can edge these boards. And then I can do another video later on. Then we can oil them up and we can have a look what they look like. But like I said, this second board now, alright, we're going to get the second board. This one is recycled timber, alright? So be kind on the comments. I know it doesn't look very pretty, right? Here's the board we made. This is recycled timber. I just source my wood from everywhere, FMS. Thank you for the subscription, that's great. Don't forget to hit the like button as well. Right, so this is recycled timber, all right? This has been a big project. We started this board in January, all right? I bet you're thinking, why is it taking him so long? For those of you who have just joined us, this timber was quite damp. I think we had readings off the moisture meter about 15 to 18%. So I had to air dry the timber in the house. It was done indoors. There was no kiln involved, nothing like that. I got all the timber air dried, and now we're down to about 7 to 8% on average. So this board's good to go. It's been cut, it's been glued, it's been sitting now for a couple of months. As you can see, it's sitting nice and flat on there. It haven't cupped, it haven't bowed, nothing's happened to it. So what I like to do with a project, especially when I make something out of wood, I like to get to a certain stage and I like to leave it. And I like to see what happens to the timber. I like to see if anything's moved. Are all your joints looking good? And when I'm happy with that, I'll jump straight back on that job like I'm doing today. And then I will finish the job. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to finish this up. So we've got a few rough edges on here. Alright, I'll show you what happened. We done a video. A load of the boys were saying on the video, putting this through the planer, we're going to have a bit of blowout. And we did have a bit of blowout. Here we go, look. But I did manage to send this through the planers and we managed to get a nice finish on there. But like I said, we've got a couple of tiny little holes on here. Don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. I will decide what I'm doing with that. And then obviously I can have my board. But this is going straight to a customer of mine, alright? She's a lovely person. She gave me all this timber for free. Obviously, we was ripping it out. And I just said, well, I'm going to make a board. But it's been an ongoing project. So it's going to be nice to see the end of this today. I'm not going to get the tape to measure because I can see the blocks on you and I can see what I want to cut away. So I'm just going to take the first cut. I'm going to line my rail what looks best to the eye. And that's what I'm going to cut off. So I think I'm going to go over there. Alright, because I want to try and get rid of some bad bits as well while I'm at it. And then we're going to go ahead and cut the side of this. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. Obviously, when you've had an ongoing job for so long, you want to get it finished, but you also don't want to rush either. So I'm trying not to rush on video for you. I tend to do that quite a lot. I'm going to go ahead and cut this now. So I'm dying to see what this looks like. As you can see, the guide rail didn't move then. That was quite a tough cut, I'm not going to lie. The saw managed the cut. She did struggle a bit. I don't know if you heard it in the audio in the background then. The saw did struggle. But luckily enough, like I said, we had a new blade. We have not got any burning on here. I will just get the other piece to show you now. Move the guide rail off there. And there's the cut, look, see? That's the cut we just done on there, alright? Don't know what that is. Look, we've got a nice bit of texture in the grain there. There's a lot going on the side. So that's the cut we've just done on the guide rail and the saw. She is struggling a bit, I will say. But this saw has got plenty of power. It cuts through oak lovely. But what I've noticed, it doesn't like maple. I'll give it that. So we've cut that side now. That's looking nice. We're going to spin the board. And we're going to go ahead and cut this side then. These are just measured in cuts like I've said. So I'm just going to measure the same measurement both sides. And then we're going to be pretty square. It'll be square enough for my liking anyway. So I'd like to get rid of that little piece there. So we're going to go there and there. So that should work out quite perfect for me then. So let's just go ahead and cut this side now. It's a lovely looking board, and I will say, all right, when we made this board, this is an end grain chopping board, all right? This isn't a normal board, you've got the end grain. So where we got the timber here, obviously here's the end grain of the timber, and that's the timber we've made there. So here's just a sample just to show you, all right? It's not perfect, obviously it's recycled timber, yeah? But we've actually managed to get something out of it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this now. Did I mark that? Yes. So we'll go ahead and mark this one up and cut him. And then we're going to get ourselves a nice board then, and we can get it all edged up today. So let's just go ahead and cut this now. That's all lined up there. It's a tough old cut, mind, this maple. That's there. As you can see, we moved slightly then on the cut. It slipped around. We are cutting off a sheet of MDF, mind, but we still managed to get a good cut lock. All right, nice clean cut on there, just so you can see yourself. And here's the board to show you. All right, there's some lovely colouring in here. Look, we've got like a knot there, and it runs right the way through here, and it's got a funny colour on it. But that's looking nice. There's that one, all right, that'll sand up nice, that edge. So we've just got the other two edges to do now. So here's another tricky couple of cuts to get on with by here. So I'm just going to line in with my eye. All right, let me just check a sec. I've got my dog out there. Where is he? Hi, no up here, boy. Good boy. Got a border collie, you've got to be careful of him, he's very investigative. Right, so we're going to go ahead now and do this cut. Alright, we're just going to clean up this edge, and then I can route these boards. But look, we're cutting on a bit of MDF here, so it does want to twist around when I'm cutting. As long as I got enough overhang, I can push it through the cut, alright? Now it is recommended, like people have commented on you, why aren't you using clamps? What have I knocked over? Why aren't you using clamps? I do use clamps where I can. But I'm happy to go ahead without them on this job. So let's go ahead and cut this now. So we'll just line that up there. I'm just going to eye it through. I think I'm going to take about half of that timber off there, and that'll look good enough for me. But these are looking nice, and I'm so happy to get this job completed today now. It's been ongoing, like I've said. There's that. Let's go ahead and cut this now. Where my battery's going, I'm wondering. There we go. We need to change the batteries on the saw sack, everyone. I think that's why we were struggling slightly. Do you know what? I don't know if I've got two batteries ready now. Let me just go and get a couple of batteries. I'll be 2 secs. They're only over here. Give me a sec. Pop into there. And get ourselves a couple of batteries then. All right. Always have spare batteries. Lovely stuff. So I got myself a couple of batteries now. I'll pop them on charge in a bit. The other ones, we should be good to go then. Anyone have that problem? Sometimes they won't connect to the dust extractor. There we go. I'm going to go ahead now and cut this one. Pop that there. It's going to want to slip and slide, but we'll be fine. Pop that on there. I'm pretty lucky. I've got small hands. When I'm fully engaged on the saw, I can only slide over the top of my hand. So I've always got my hand to the side of the guide rail holding it like this. I don't know if those other you lot on there can do the same as me, but I'm pretty lucky with that. We've got another nice cut. We're doing well on these now. Hello, how are you? Nice to see you. And what are these crowns, everyone? Does anyone know what these crowns are? What are they? People that comment regular? Is that what they are? That's a new thing YouTube must have put on here, is it? The little crowns. Right, so we've got that side cut now just to show you. That's looking nice. And we're going to go ahead now, we're going to cut the other side here. So, let's just make sure we got it in the right way around. That's the cut we're going to do, everyone. And then we can go ahead and get this routed. It's looking absolutely fabulous, mind. I do like the look of this board. It's nice when they all come together. Right, so let's get this cut, because I'll just yap to myself all day. Let's have a look. I want to take that bit away, so we're going to go 255. This is just going to be a little skim, this one. So we're probably going to have a load of sawdust flying everywhere, you're going to see on the video. And pop that by there. But you'll be surprised how much dust these dust extractors collect. They're absolutely brilliant. We are working indoors here, don't forget, and you can see me clear as day. They are great. I do need to get some other dust extraction on the go in your mind. Obviously, it's always better for your health to have as much extraction as you can. Here we go with this. Let's get this cut done now. A little bit of movement on here then, but we managed to get the cut just to show you. That's looking nice. Alright, so there's the cut. Alright, just trying to show you the cut. Can you see that as it zoomed in tidy on there? There's the cut we have just done. So we've got ourselves a board now. So I'm very happy. And we're going to set up now for the router, alright? So we're going to get the router set. I'm going to just router the edges. I think I'll do the oak one first. Alright, that's going to look nice. So we're going to get the edges routed on this, and these boards are finally done. I just need to do a bit of sanding and a nice bit of oil in then. So there's the one. And here's the other board. We've got this one as well, so both of them are looking nice. I think they'll mean verified account, but I may be wrong. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many new things coming on here now that obviously YouTube got this new hype button. There's loads of stuff coming. But we don't know, as content creators, we don't know what the buttons do because we can't press them ourselves, can we? So, right, here we go now. We're going to get the router set up. I'm just going to move the saw out of the way and put that down there. And then once we set the router, then we can go ahead and do the edges on here. So we're going to do the chevron board first. We're going to move this out the way. And then I'm probably going to use a clamp, everyone. So we'll pop the board here. And I will clamp this one up then. Let me just get a couple of clamps. Oh, and we're going to have a go over branding as well. We're going to brand these boards today. I got some lovely brands. I don't know if you like them. I got this one made up. And I've also got this one made up. I've had a little play with these. I was trying to use them with a heat gun the other day and they didn't work very well. But I managed to find my old torch. I got myself some gas. So we're going to brand these up as well today. We will do that on this live. So I'm looking forward to seeing them. Obviously I might do it too hot. but we're going to have a go with that. I haven't really practiced branding. So we're just going to clamp this now, everyone, and then we can go ahead and route it then. So let me just move that out the way. Get myself a couple of clamps. Here's one. There's one I made earlier. So we're just going to go ahead and clamp this piece in here. So look. Doesn't matter where we go really, but we don't want it overhanging, do we? So we'll just clamp this down now so she's nice and tight. She's not going to go anywhere. We won't go over there, we'll stay here. So we'll do 2 clamps here. There we go, she's nice and tight. So obviously a little bit of wobble in these tables, but they are great. So let's go ahead now and route this. Obviously when using a bigger bit on your router, alright, you can't use the dust extractor attachment. So we're going to have a little bit of mess here when we do this. But obviously Festool have got the chip deflector that you can use. So it does help you out a bit. But we are going to have a little bit of mess. So ideally I should be wearing a dust mask. But if I'm quick, maybe I'll see where the dust is flying. I might be able to catch a bit of it with this hoover by here. So we'll have a go with this now. So I'm going to pop this by here. Alright, a little bit higher up there. And if I just pop that right there, turn that on, it might be just good. And we got ourselves a lovely mess to clean up, haven't we? With a little tiny line there which we will sand off. So I'll just show you the edge of the board now just so you can see. Here's the edge we just done. Now I like this effect. See, when you do a round over with like a chevron pattern like this, these come up and around. I do like that. That's a nice effect on the board, isn't it? So that's what we've just done on there. We've got a little tiny lip, but I'll need to sand out. Which I'm going to leave it like that. I'm not going to adjust the blade now. We're going to stick with that. That's what we're going to go with. I'm just going to clamp this now and work my way around the board. There's going to be a tiny bit of burning. Because when you're going across grain with the router, you do get a bit of burning. I don't want to rush the cut because we are dealing with a hardwood. So I'm going to try and feed it through at the right rate. Maybe I'll slow the speed down slightly to stop the burning. We're going to cut, I'm already at 5, mine it goes up to 6. We're going to try a cut at about 4.5 now. So we've just changed the speed of the router to see if that improves. It's all trial and error, everyone. If you get burning, try and slow it down a bit. Sometimes, obviously, like we've said, that's due to speed. So let's go ahead and cut this now. I'm going to have more mess, everyone. If I got a bit of dust like this, I like to keep this close to my face So I'm not breathing it in then, this can suck it all up. But it's not too bad in here. I'll just show you this cut now, give me a sec. I'm just cleaning up a bit. Right, so let's have a look at this cut now. Right. Here's this cut we've just done. Obviously we've got less burning on this, alright? This is the cut that we want to be checking, this next one by here, because this is the one that it will burn on, alright? So let's go ahead and clamp it up. I can get my sander there and I can sand this. I think I'm going to put this board down to a nice 220 grit today. I think it's a nice feeling of 220. I know I got that paper here. Well, I hope I have anyway. Right, so let's get this one cut now. So we're going to move that back to there. Alright. We're in no rush. We're just going to make sure this is right. And then I'll go ahead and do the other board then. I'll probably just slightly change the depth on the route a bit because I got a little tiny lip by here I need to sand out. So I'll just slightly change it for the other board. I don't want to go messing with it right now. I don't mind a bit of sanding. I do enjoy sanding. And it's not a big lip. It is about, I'd say about a mil, maybe a mil and a half there. So we'll be able to sort that quite easily. So we'll go ahead now and cut this one. Let me get my hose over here a bit. So I want to try and catch some of this dust. There we go. Let's try that. I'll just show you this one. This is a much better cut. We had a tiny little wobble coming out of the cut then because I'm trying to lean over so you still got it in video, but it's coming along nice. This one's looking nice, look, see, hardly no burning, and that's because we changed the speed of the router. So I set the router to 4.5. This router goes up to 6, all right? So we're at about 4.5 per there. So just changing the speed on the router has saved me a lot of work on sanding, because I will say that there's nothing worse than sanding burn marks out of end grain timber. It's an absolute nightmare. Those of you who's done it will know exactly what I'm talking about. So we just changed the speed of the router now and that's working lovely. I should have thought about that before I started. But I've only got a tiny little bit of burning on the yoke over there. So that's light sanding to get rid of that. I will show you that again now in a minute. So I'll just go ahead now and we will route the other side of this. And these clamps are absolutely bloody brilliant. They hold very well. One clamp's enough sometimes of these. You don't really need the two. But there's the second clamp on there. I'll go ahead and cut this now, but I am leaning over the table so you guys can see. See? Just go ahead and cut this one now. Get my dust extractor hose set for there. And then we can go ahead and do the maple board then. Catch a bit. There's that one. And there's this edge, right? So we just got a light bit of sanding now by here, because obviously I did need to change the depth for the router, but I didn't want to change the depth for the router because the round over would have looked completely different on both sides of the board. So I've decided to stick with that. we're just going to lightly sand that out of there, and that's looking nice. So there's a lovely looking board there. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe if you like it. I know it's not perfect. I do try and show you what's right and what's wrong with my work, but we're all here for learning. But I do love this effect of it coming up and around into the chevron pattern. I think it's looking lovely the way it curves up and goes in. That's a nice effect, that is. But I'm going to get this sanded today and I can get some oil on here then. I'm going to go ahead now. I'll jump off this video. I don't know if any of you want to watch me round the maple over. If you do, I will stay live. If you're not interested in that now, just say. And I'll jump off this live and I'll go and get myself a bit of grub, I think. I think that's what we're going to do, everyone. So I'll give you 2 secs. If you want to like and subscribe, that'd be absolutely great. I will be coming back live in about half hour, an hour. And we'll get some more oil on these boards. And then we can finish all of them up then. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you on the next video.